The deception of weakness. The ships of the Archean Dominion emerged from hyperspace like predatory birds, their obsidian hulls reflecting the distant sun as they positioned themselves in Earth's orbit. For centuries, the Archeans had expanded their reach across the galaxy, conquering hundreds of worlds and assimilating countless species into their ever-growing empire. Their method was always the same: swift, overwhelming force followed by total subjugation. Supreme Commander Vax Toril stood on the command deck of the flagship Inevitable Conquest, his 4 eyes narrowed as he studied the blue-green planet below. His leathery skin, the color of burnished copper, tightened across his skull ridges as he processed the intelligence reports. "This is the threat that Central Command warned us about," he scoffed, his mandibles clicking in amusement. "Their technology is primitive. Their military forces are fractured across nation-states. They still burn fossil fuels. For the eternal sake." Strategic Officer Nexlera approached cautiously, her data tablet displaying various metrics about the planet designated Sol 3. "The species calls themselves humans, Supreme Commander. Our preliminary scans confirm they have achieved rudimentary space travel but haven't expanded beyond their lunar satellite. Their communications infrastructure is basic and largely centralized." Vax Toril's upper lip curled in derision. And yet Central Command diverted 3 full battle fleets for this. What a waste of resources. He tapped a claw against the holographic display. "Begin standard conquest protocol. Disable their satellites, neutralize major military installations, and establish ground control points in their population centers." "And their nuclear weapons, Commander?" asked Nexlera. "Neutralize them first. The primitives likely don't even have proper launch protocols." He waved a dismissive hand. "I expect full planetary submission within 1 rotation." The Archean invasion began exactly as planned. Earth's satellites went dark within minutes. Power grids across major cities failed simultaneously. Global communications crumbled as internet backbones were severed. Military bases reported massive electromagnetic pulses that rendered equipment useless. Then the dropships came, thousands of them, descending through atmosphere like metallic raindrops. They landed in strategic locations: Washington, Beijing, Moscow, London, Delhi, disgorging armored Archean troops and automated combat drones. Vax Toril reclined in his command chair, watching the holographic displays as invasion metrics scrolled across them. "Status report," he ordered, expecting nothing but confirmation of their overwhelming success. Fleet Captain Zernthar shifted uncomfortably. "Sir, we're encountering unexpected resistance." "Resistance?" Vax Toril's spine ridges stiffened. "Elaborate." "Our forces in what they call North America report ambushes by civilians using modified commercial drones. 3 troop carriers have been disabled. In Eastern Europe, our ground forces are being harassed by improvised explosive devices. And in Japan, someone has already hacked into our battlefield communication systems." The Supreme Commander's eyes blinked in sequence, a sign of his growing irritation. "These are minor setbacks. Deploy secondary waves and increase force presence." But the setbacks continued. Within hours, reports flooded in from across the planet. In rural areas, farmers were using fertilizer compounds to create explosives that could penetrate Archean battle armor. University students had repurposed commercial technology to jam Archean targeting systems. Retired military personnel were organizing resistance cells, sharing tactics that exploited weaknesses in Archean formations. By the end of the first day, the Archean Dominion had lost over 300 troops and dozens of vehicles. It was unprecedented. "This makes no sense," hissed Vax Toril, pacing the command deck. "They shouldn't be able to coordinate this level of resistance with their communications infrastructure disabled." Nexlera's analysis was troubling. "It appears they're not relying on centralized coordination. Sir, their resistance is distributed, local, adaptive. Impossible. No species can maintain effective military operations without central command. The humans appear to operate on initiative, sir. They don't wait for orders. They just fight. Vaxtoral slammed his fist on the tactical display. Escalate to Protocol 6. Begin orbital bombardment of military targets. The Archean fleet positioned kinetic impact weapons in low orbit, targeting human military installations. The rods of tungsten, accelerated to incredible velocities, should have penetrated deep into Earth's crust, creating devastation equivalent to tactical nuclear strikes without the radiation. But something unexpected happened. Many of the projectiles were intercepted by hastily reprogrammed anti-satellite missiles. Others were knocked off course by high-powered ground-based lasers that shouldn't have existed in Earth's technological inventory. Where did they get this technology? Roared Vaxtoral. Their defensive capabilities were not in our intelligence reports. 3 days into the invasion, the Archean ground forces were in disarray. Their superior technology meant little against an enemy that refused to fight conventionally. Humans had turned their cities into labyrinths of death, their countryside into killing fields. Every household item became a weapon, every civilian a potential combatant. Fleet Captain Zernfar approached Vaxtoral with new intelligence. "Commander, we've captured several human resistance leaders for interrogation. There's something disturbing in their responses." "Show me," demanded Vaxtoral. The holographic display activated, showing a human female with dark skin and fierce eyes. Despite being restrained, she looked defiantly at her captors. "Why do you resist?" asked the Archean interrogator. "Your militaries are crushed. Your governments are in hiding. Surrender would save countless lives." The woman laughed, a sound that sent an involuntary shiver down Vaxtoral's spine. "You really don't get it, do you? You thought taking out our command centers would leave us helpless. Each of us knows what needs to be done. We don't need someone to tell us to defend our home." "Your primitive weapons cannot stand against our technology," stated the interrogator. "Technology." The woman leaned forward, her restraints straining. "We've been adapting your technology since day one. Those drones you lost over Mexico. College kids reprogrammed them. The communications you can't secure. Teenagers are in your systems. You brought your fancy toys to our playground, and now we're using them against you." The interrogator's voice betrayed growing frustration. "Where is your military? Your organized defense forces?" And then the woman said the words that would haunt Vaxtoral. "What you're fighting now. These are just civilians. Angry, resourceful civilians. You haven't even seen our military yet." Vaxtoral shut off the display, his breathing labored. "Is this true? Have we only been fighting civilians?" Nexalera consulted her data. "Our intelligence suggests their conventional military forces have indeed been largely holding back, sir. We've encountered primarily civilian resistance with limited military coordination." "But that's not possible," stammered Vaxtoral. "No civilian population has this level of capability." A communication alert chimed, and the main display activated to show an Archean scout ship commander. "Supreme Commander, we've detected massive energy signatures activating across the planet's surface and from their lunar base." "What kind of energy signatures?" demanded Vaxtoral. "Weapons systems, sir. Advanced ones. And they're all pointing up." Before Vaxtoral could process this information, another alert sounded. "Multiple objects launching from Earth's surface." "Intercept them," ordered Vaxtoral. "Sir," said Zernfar, his voice barely a whisper, "I don't think we can." The first missile struck an Archean cruiser, bypassing its shields completely as if they weren't even there. The explosion tore the ship in half. Across Earth's orbit, more missiles found their targets with impossible precision. Archean ships began to fall. On the command deck of the inevitable Conquest, chaos reigned as officers shouted contradictory reports and warnings. Vaxtoral stood paralyzed, watching as his mighty invasion fleet was decimated by weapons that shouldn't exist. A transmission cut through the chaos, broadcasting on all Archean frequencies. A human male in a military uniform appeared on screen, his face calm but resolute. This is General Marcus Chen of Earth's United Defense Force. Your invasion ends now. For 7 days, we've studied your technology, your tactics, your weaknesses, all while our civilian population kept you distracted. Now you face our actual military response. Vax Toral could only stare in horror as the human continued. You have 1 hour to retreat from Earth space. Any remaining vessels will be destroyed. This is your only warning. As the transmission ended, Lara approached Vax Toral, her voice shaking. Sir, we've intercepted their military communications. It appears they let us invade. They wanted us to deploy our technology where they could study it. What? Vax Toral's voice was barely audible. The civilian resistance was coordinated all along, sir. They were buying time, gathering intelligence, adapting our own systems against us, while their military prepared a counteroffensive. Vax Toral looked back at the tactical display, watching as more of his ships disappeared from the grid. The devastating truth dawned on him. They had been played. The Arxian Dominion, conquerors of 1,000 worlds, had fallen into a trap set by a species they had gravely underestimated. Begin evacuation, he ordered, his voice hollow with the realization of defeat. We retreat. As the battered remnants of the Arxian fleet prepared to jump to hyperspace, Vax Toral couldn't shake the human woman's words from his mind. You haven't even seen our military yet. The Arxians had come expecting easy conquest. Instead, they had awakened something terrifying. A species that didn't just fight with technology or numbers, but with relentless innovation and unbreakable will. Humanity unleashed. 3 weeks after the failed invasion of Earth, Supreme Commander Vax Toral stood before the Arxian High Council, his once proud posture now bent with the weight of unprecedented failure. The chamber, carved from living crystal deep within the capital planet of Arxia Prime, amplified the hostile murmurs of the assembled counselors. Explain yourself, Commander, demanded High Counselor Vesmeric, her ancient face contorted with disgust. How did 3 battle fleets fail to subjugate a single pre-FTL world? Vax Toral's throat sac pulsed nervously. Counselors, the intelligence on this species, these humans, was catastrophically incomplete. They possess technological capabilities far beyond our estimates. Our reports indicated primitive nuclear fission technology and limited space presence, countered another counselor. That's what they wanted us to see, replied Vax Toral. It was a facade, a deception on a planetary scale. He activated a holographic display showing footage captured during the retreat. Earth vessels, sleek and deadly, pursuing Arxian ships through the outer solar system. Weapon systems that seemed to adapt to Arxian countermeasures in real time. Most disturbing were the images of human soldiers in advanced combat suits, moving with augmented speed and precision. This was their actual military, explained Vax Toral. What we fought initially were merely their civilians. The council chamber erupted in disbelief. High Counselor Vesmeric raised a gnarled hand for silence. You expect us to believe that civilians repelled our initial assault. Humans don't organize like we do, Vax Toral tried to explain. They don't require central authority to function effectively. Each individual can operate independently while still working toward collective goals. It's unsettling. Before the council could respond, an aide rushed in, mandibles clicking in distress. Counselors, we're receiving reports of human ships entering the Persephone system. The chamber fell silent. The Persephone system was 2 jumps away from Sol, farther than humans should have been able to travel. Impossible, whispered Vesmeric. They don't have FTL technology. They didn't, corrected Vax Toral grimly. But they do now. They've reverse-engineered our hyperspace drives. Panic swept through the council as tactical displays activated, showing human vessels emerging from hyperspace near Arxian outposts and colonies. They moved with purpose, targeting military installations while avoiding civilian centers. This is not random aggression, noted Vax Toral. They're being precise. Surgical. How? Demanded Vesmeric. How could they master our technology so quickly? Because that's what they do, came a new voice. All eyes turned to the entrance of the chamber where an Arxian scientist stood, flanked by security drones. Science Director Krelnoth, the Dominion's leading xenobiologist, approached the council table. I warned Central Command about Earth, stated Krelnoth. My preliminary studies of human history showed a species with unprecedented adaptability. They don't just use technology. They improve it, integrate it. Their entire civilization is built on taking existing ideas and making them better. And this was ignored. Vesmarek's voice was dangerous. Military command believed overwhelming force would compensate for any unique attributes, replied Krelnoth, with a pointed look at Vaxtoral. They were wrong. Another alert sounded. The tactical display updated to show human vessels now appearing in 3 more star systems. They were spreading out, establishing a perimeter. They're containing us, realized Vaxtoral. In the days that followed, the Arxian Dominion faced a reality they had never contemplated: defensive warfare. The humans didn't push toward Arxia Prime as expected. Instead, they established control over key hyperspace routes and resource-rich systems, cutting off Arxian expansion while building their own infrastructure. Reports from the front lines painted a disturbing picture. Human ships were rapidly evolving, each new wave incorporating improvements based on battlefield data. Their weapon systems were becoming more effective against Arxian defenses. Most concerning were the human soldiers themselves, increasingly augmented with cybernetic enhancements that made them formidable even against Arxian elite troops. On the 40th day of what was now being called the human counteroffensive, the Aryans lost the crucial shipyards of Vecta II. The battle was brief but decisive. Human forces deployed a new weapon, self-replicating nanite swarms that disabled Aryan vessels without destroying them. They captured the shipyards intact, along with thousands of Aryan military personnel. Among the prisoners was Fleet Captain Zernfar. His debriefing, transmitted back to Area Prime, sent shockwaves through High Command. They're not just learning our technology, he reported, his voice hollow with defeat. They're improving it. Their engineers took our hyperspace calculations and optimized them. They studied our shield harmonics and found frequencies we never considered. And they're doing it all with a fraction of our resources. But perhaps most telling was Zernfar's account of his interrogation by a human commander named Colonel Sofia Martinez. She showed me their production facilities, Zernfar recounted. Not just military installations but civilian manufacturing repurposed for war. Their entire species has mobilized. She told me, your mistake was thinking humans are just another species. We're not. We're adaptation incarnate. On the 16th day, a transmission reached Arxia Prime on all frequencies. The Aryan High Council watched in stunned silence as a human appeared on screen, a male with dark skin and resolute eyes, wearing what appeared to be a formal governmental uniform. I am President Quaim Okafor of the United Earth Government. I speak to the leadership of the Aryan Dominion directly. Your unprovoked attack on our world has ended in failure. Your attempt to enslave humanity has only awakened us to the broader galaxy. He paused, his expression stern but not vengeful. We offer these terms. Withdraw all Aryan forces from the systems we now control. Recognize Earth's sovereignty and our right to colonize unoccupied systems. Provide reparations for the damage inflicted during your invasion. In exchange, we will cease our military operations against your empire. High Counselor Vesmarek's voice quavered as she responded. And if we refuse? President Okafor's expression didn't change. Then we continue taking systems until you reconsider. We prefer peace, Counselor, but we've proven we can adapt to war faster than you can wage it. As the transmission ended, Science Director Krelnoth addressed the stunned council. This outcome was predictable. Human history is full of similar patterns, periods of apparent technological stagnation followed by explosive advancement, often triggered by external threat. Their psychology is uniquely suited to crisis response. "You mean they needed us to attack them?" asked Vesmeric incredulously. "Not needed," corrected Krelnov, "but they certainly used it. Our invasion accelerated their development by decades, possibly centuries. We gave them access to technologies they might not have discovered for generations." Vaxtorl, standing silently until now, spoke softly. "All this time, we thought we were the predators of the galaxy. But we just awakened something far more dangerous than ourselves." 3 months later, the Treaty of Luna was signed in Earth's lunar colony, officially ending hostilities between the Aryan Dominion and humanity. The terms were remarkably fair, considering humanity's increasingly dominant position. Earth claimed 12 star systems, but demanded no Aryan territory. They required technology exchanges, but offered their own innovations in return. As the Aryan delegation prepared to return home, Vaxtorl, now demoted but serving as a cultural advisor, had a final conversation with General Marcus Chen, the human military leader who had announced Earth's true capabilities during the invasion. "There's one thing I still don't understand," said Vaxtorl. "You could have conquered us completely. Why didn't you?" Chen considered this for a moment. "That's not who we want to be. Humanity has done enough conquering in our own history to know it's not the path to lasting peace." "But your military power was a response, not our nature," Chen interrupted. "We build, Commander. We create. We explore. Fighting is just something we do when we must." As Vaxtorl boarded the transport that would take him back to Arxia Prime, he reflected on the human woman's words during that first interrogation, words that had changed the course of galactic history. "You haven't even seen our military yet." How frighteningly accurate she had been. And yet, the true terror wasn't what humanity could do in war. It was what they might accomplish in peace. A species that could advance so rapidly, adapt so thoroughly, and unite so completely was unlike anything the galaxy had seen before. The stars would never be the same again. In the decades that followed, humanity emerged as a balancing force in galactic politics. They expanded methodically, transforming lifeless worlds into thriving colonies. Their technology evolved at a pace that alarmed older species, but they shared their advancements freely with peaceful allies. The Aryan Dominion, chastened by their defeat, reformed their expansionist policies. A new era of cautious cooperation emerged between the former enemies. Arxian scientists worked alongside human researchers, each learning from the other. On the 10th anniversary of First Contact, now celebrated across Earth as Resilience Day, a reporter asked President Okafor what lesson the galaxy should take from humanity's unexpected victory. His answer was simple: never judge a species by their technology alone. Judge them by their capacity to change. Somewhere in deep space, aboard a human exploration vessel charting unknown regions, a young ensign asked her captain about the famous invasion. "Is it true what they say, Captain, that we let them attack us to study their technology?" The captain, a veteran of those desperate early days, smiled slightly. "Not exactly. We didn't let anything happen. But once it began, we adapted. That's what humans do. We take disasters and turn them into opportunities." She looked out at the stars streaming past the view screen. The Arxians came expecting to find just another conquered world. Instead, they found humanity. They'll never make that mistake again. And neither, she added softly, will anyone else.